Gavin? Mr. Mayor.
My point of view is let people live their lives. Let people live their lives with dignity and respect and honor without feeling oppressed, without feeling that people of different points of view are oppressing their points of view on them. What I call for, what I believe in, is the capacity for people to live their dreams regardless of their sexual orientation, regardless of their gender, regardless of their race. Equality, you cannot run the 90-yard dash and call separate an institution that is separate equal. Equality is treating people equally and fairly, again, regardless of their sexual orientation. We have got to stand on the principle of full equality for the gay and lesbian community.
Up next, a woman who was raised by two fathers who says that half of our panel is just wrong, wrong, wrong.
She said, I'm the product of a gay marriage. No, we all got here by a sperm and an egg. And I want the...
It did take sperm and egg to make me. But I have faith in my heart and I have faith in my home and I pray and I practice. And that's something both my parents taught me. Not my mom and my father and my uncle.
I do not like the gay community shoving their beliefs down my throat because I disagree with their lifestyle choice. You are not born gay. I could no longer accept or tolerate a gay lifestyle as I could with somebody who smokes or an alcoholic or husbands who cheat. The gay community are comparing this discrimination to when the blacks weren't allowed to marry. Blacks, Asians cannot help who they are. They were born that way. The gay community somehow is so obsessed with the word marriage. Well, what is wrong with domestic partnership? It is called a democracy when two sides cannot agree. It's put up for a vote. Thank God for America and the USA.
That's just one of many strong opinions we've been hearing on the issue of same-sex marriage. Is it right or is it wrong? We're continuing our debate today. One of the most important areas of this discussion is the idea of family. An estimated 65,000 adopted children in the U.S. are currently living with a lesbian or gay parent. Same-sex parents are raising 4% of all adopted children in the United States. So it's no wonder things heated up when we started talking about kids. Pastor, I've got a two-part question for you. One is what you want to see happen, and the other is if the reality of our society is that gay couples are forming and they're raising children and they're adopting children, why would you not want that taught to the children if it's part of society and if it's part of an element of where this world is in this day and time, as opposed to them not being taught about that and then dealing with it when they step into the world? So you can deal with that, I guess, first, and then what you want to see happen second, if you would.
Well, I have extremely high value for the role of parents. I don't believe children belong to the state. I don't even think they belong to the parents. I think they belong to God, but they've been put in the care of parents until appropriate age. That means the parents, not the state, not the schools, determine what they teach. Secondly, Gloria was quick to remind me I'm not licensed to practice law in California, and you are correct. But I have to respond to one thing. I have a PhD in historical theology, and in the references to the Bible and to Jesus and all that were made a few moments ago, it's only been a phenomenon in the last few years, a sudden epiphany, where they've gone back and redefined certain words in the Bible. The Bible for 2,000 years and the Jewish tradition before that has stood clearly that marriage is defined one distinctive way, and marriage it was before ever governmental sanctions by 3,500 years, so this wasn't something the government came up with. It made it for a long time without any government intrusion for an awful long time. The second thing, and I say this tenderly, is because when someone says that she stood a moment ago, and I want to say this tenderly, that she said I'm the product of a gay marriage. No, we all got here by a sperm and an egg, and I want like Maggie, I would like to see the sanctity of marriage preserved. And then secondly, people of my ilk, one of the things that I prayed for is that people like me would have greater compassion and love for those with whom we differ so strongly. And that's what God has been performing in my own heart, a deeper love that I did not have as much before this campaign, even though I disagree. But God honored the request for a deeper love, even with you and you and you, than I ever had before. And I honestly mean that.
Hold on. Stop. I need to bring you a microphone. I'm going to let you talk. I'm just going to bring you. Okay, hold on. Because I know you want to respond to the sperm and the egg.
Yeah, Reverend, you're right. Biologically, yes, it took my father and my mother. But now let me rebuttal with your whole constitution of having a man and woman and God honoring that. My mother wasn't a good woman. She left when I was 6. So yes, God, you are so precise, and thank you, Jesus Christ, for this. Bringing my mother and my father together, for my mother not to be a good mother and to realize that she was not capable of being a mother, that she was literally a womb and birth canal, and that she gave a gift, that's me and my sister, to Ron and Sal. And Ron and Sal raised 2 incredible, happy, healthy. I'm a woman of God myself. It's not your God, but I have faith in my heart and I have faith in my home, and I pray and I practice. And that's something both my parents taught me. Not my mom and my father and my uncle. So thank you for bringing that point. It did take sperm and egg to make me, and I'm happy that she's not in my life.
Same-sex marriage. Is this an equal rights issue or an issue of religious belief? That's next.
Religious institutions will not be impacted.
A Christian physician punished by the government because she wouldn't personally create a fatherless child.
And later,
the state has to show a compelling state interest. They can't show a compelling state interest in stopping same-gender couples from marrying.
I'm really hopeful that people are waking up and people are seeing that they need to get active, they need to participate, and they need to get out there. And I'm hoping that this will spark a national dialogue and that there will be positive to come out of this negative.
people all across the country have been talking about the issue of same-sex marriage. And part of that talk has been widespread criticism of the Mormon Church for its participation in the ban on gay marriage. Now, since our last show aired, the California Fair Political Practices Commission has opened an investigation of the Mormon Church after accusations that they allegedly failed to report non-monetary contributions to the campaign. The Mormon Church denies any wrongdoing. One of the recurring questions in our debate was whether the church should even be involved in state and political issues. A lot of the questions I've had from viewers about this and in writing in, you're not asking the state to mandate that this church must marry anyone at all.
And the Supreme Court made that crystal clear in their decision. They actually specifically, explicitly stated that religious institutions will not be impacted by the rendering of their decisions. So this has been dealt with quite specifically, and that's why there's not one instant I think they can reference in the context of California legally sanctioning gay marriages where religious institutions were even sued in California.
Okay, and Pastor, you think that's wrong, and that in fact you could be required to change the gospel that you preach if the law is enacted, true?
Well, that he refers to the 121-page decision. It was on page 117, only one paragraph, which alluded to that. But the court case was not ultimately about that. The court case was about whether homosexual individuals can marry. So now what's waiting is a court case that would address that. 8 homosexual organizations went together with the ACLU and signed what they call the joint agreement, what they posted on their websites to say do not sue until after the election is over, assuming that Prop 8 was going to lose. But it did not lose, and so that's may have been scuttled. I'm not sure what the plan is now. But most assuredly, in the course of time, that would have come back up and have been an issue, as it is in places, the historical models, where they have that now.
Yeah, we've seen Christian adoption agencies forced out of business in Massachusetts. We saw 2 weeks after the same-sex marriage decision, a Christian physician punished by the government because she wouldn't personally create a fatherless child. The definition of marriage will change for everyone. And if the government says that people who just don't see two men in a union as exactly the same as a husband and wife are going to be treated like couples who oppose interracial marriage, there's going to be a whole array of potential penalties, from licenses to tax exemption. The leading gay newspaper, the Washington Advocate, asked this question in May. What will happen? Could churches that don't marry same-sex couples face penalties from the government? Their answer was, it is not entirely clear. It will be worked out in a flood of litigation.
The debate rages on. We'll be right back with some final thoughts from our panel of experts.
California.
Do you believe that a church should be allowed to not marry an interracial couple?
I don't get into what churches should be able to do. Let me just tell you. But I do care about what government can do and must not do.